Okay, in the previous video, we saw how to solve one-step equations. This one, we're going to look at what we need to do to solve two-step equations. So, key concepts in solving two-step equations. First, simplify each side if needed. Sometimes we need to combine like terms to make sure that our apples are with our apples and our oranges are with our oranges. Not all the time, but sometimes. Next, we want our variables on one side and constants to the other. And the best part of this, it doesn't really matter which side we have them on. We can put them on either. The only thing we have to be careful of is we always use inverse operations, which means opposite operations, to move them. So in this case, addition or subtraction. Then we get the variable alone by either multiplying or dividing. So thinking back to the one-step equations, that last step that we do is the opposite of whatever operation we're looking at. And then again, similar to one step, we need to check our solution to make sure it's true. Things to remember here: paying very close attention to signs. Rewrite the equation if needed. This is so important. I think sometimes rewriting in a way that we can see and understand is important. And then always, 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 always perform the same operation on both sides. All right, let's jump right into it then and take a look at some examples here. So the first one we see, we've got negative 8 equals negative 10 plus p over 2. And I'm going to write this in a way that might look a little easier to start solving. So I'm going to write this. Remember, we can rewrite anyway. We just need to make sure we keep everything the same, meaning if it's a positive, it needs to stay a positive. So if I look here, this is actually a negative 10. So I'm going to say p over 2 minus 10 equals negative 8. So this is one way to rewrite this one. And thinking about this, we want to get variables to one side and constants to the other. Well, the variable's on this side already, so all we want to do is move this right here over there. And thinking about, we want to do the inverse operation of whatever this is. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. And again, the most important thing to remember is whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we're going to add 10 to this side to maintain some balance. And similar to the one step, if you notice what happens here, we make a zero pair on this side, meaning these right here are going to cancel out to make 0, and we're just going to be left with our variable on one side, which is what we want. So on this side, we're just left with p over 2 equals, on this side we have negative 8 plus 10. So integers with opposite signs, we're going to subtract. So 10 minus 8 is 2. And then we think about which one's further from 0, and in this case our positive 10 is further from 0 than our negative 8, so our answer is going to be 2. So now we have what we looked like, what we saw in the last example in the one-step equation video, and we have p divided by 2. So we know that in order to get p by itself, we need to multiply both sides by 2. And again, what happens over here is this becomes 2p over 2, which is the same thing as just 1p or p. So these cancel out to make 1. So on the left side, we've got p equals, and then all we look up here is 2 times 2. Well, we know that, and that's 4. So now it's going back and substituting this 4 up here in for p, okay? So if we look at this, we've got negative 8, and I'm going to leave it this time as is, equals negative 10 plus 4, which was our p, over 2. Now I can rewrite as negative 8 equals negative 10. And well, 4 divided by 2, well, that's going to be 2. So now we look here and we combine this side. Negative 10 plus 2, opposite signs, so we subtract. So 10 minus 2 is 8, and since this is further from 0, we get negative 8. So in this case, we've got negative 8 equals negative 8, so the left side equals the right side. So our answer in this case is correct. Okay, next one over here, and I'm going to leave this one as is this time, okay, for one reason. So again, if we think about the easy two-step process is we're always going to try and either add or subtract first, and then multiply or divide. So I need to get rid of this number right here. And if I look at this number right here, this is 12, positive 12. So the opposite of positive 12 is negative 12. So I need to subtract 12 from both sides. So again, what happens on this side, we've got 12 minus 12 is 0 pair. So the only thing, again, paying close attention to our signs, this has to come with this right here. So I need to rewrite this one as negative 6n equals 138 minus 12. Well, that's going to give me 126. So now I'm down to just a one-step equation. I have negative 6 times n equals 126. Well, the opposite of multiplication in this case is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 6. And again, it has to stay whatever the sign is. So in this case, it's negative. So I need to divide both sides by negative 6. And then again, what happens? Negative 6 divided by negative 6 is going to cancel out to make a positive 1. N. So I've got n equals 126 divided by negative 6. So this would be a time when having your multiplication chart or your planner with your multiplication chart in it would be super helpful. For me, I know that a positive divided by a negative is going to be a negative. And then I know that 126 divided by 6 is going to be negative 21 in this case. Okay, so again, the last step here is to check to see if this is true. So I plug back in. So I've got 12 minus 6 times negative 21 equals 138. So I need to simplify this right in here. And again, super important, paying close attention to the sign. So this is negative 6 times negative 21. So a negative times a negative is a positive. So this becomes 12 plus 126 equals 138. Combine these two. When I add these two together, I get 138 equals 138. So I can check this off. Our answer of negative 21 is, in fact, correct. Okay. Taking a look at this one down here, number 3, I'm going to leave this one. I'm not going to rewrite it as anything else. I'm going to leave it just as it is. And I, again, look right here and I see that I need to get rid of this first. And, well, the opposite of addition here is going to be subtraction. So I need to subtract 4 from both sides. Again, 0 pair. Cancels out. Leaves just the variable on that side. So I can rewrite now this one as n over 3 equals, paying close attention to our signs, negative 3 minus 4. So they have the same sign, so we're going to find the sum. Same sign sum. So 3 plus 4 is 7. In this case, they're both negative, so it's going to be negative 7. Last step, one-step equation, n divided by 3. Opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. This makes 1n, or n. On the right side, I have negative 7 times 3. A negative times a positive is a negative. In this case, negative 21. Taking our answer and substituting it back in to see if what we found was correct. So we have negative 21 divided by 3 plus 4 equals negative 3. So if I start here, negative divided by a positive is a negative. So I have negative 7 plus 4 equals negative 3. Opposite signs, I'm going to subtract. So 7 minus 4 is 3. Which number is further from 0, positive 4 or negative 7? Well, the answer is negative 7, so our answer is negative. So negative 3 equals negative 3, so our answer of negative 21 works and is true. Okay, last one right here. So if we look at this, negative 3n plus 10 equals negative 23. So again, opposite or inverse operations. Opposite of adding 10 is subtracting 10. Need to do that to both sides. So again, on the left side, a 0 pair, meaning they're going to go away. We moved it to this side. We took this 10 and put it on this side. We maintain balance by doing the same thing on both sides. So now I'm just left with negative 3n on the left side equals negative 23 minus 10. Same sign, sum. So 23 plus 10 is 33. They're both negative, so they're going to stay negative because we're adding or subtracting. Last step, inverse operation. So I have negative 3 times n equals negative 33. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. And again, I need to make sure it is a negative 3, so I need to divide both sides by negative 3. On the left side, a negative 3 divided by a negative 3 is 1, or n. We're left with just n, which is what we want, equals negative 33 divided by negative 3. Well, negative divided by a negative is a positive, and in this case, it's going to be positive 11. Now, last step, we take this and plug it in for n. So we've got negative 3 times 11 plus 10 equals negative 23. Negative 3 times 11, negative times a positive, negative 33 plus 10 equals negative 23. The left side, I have a negative and a positive, so opposite signs. I'm going to subtract these two. 33 minus 10 is 23. Which one's further from 0? Well, in this case, it's our negative 33, so our answer on this side is going to be negative. And negative 23 equals negative 23. Checks out. Answer is correct. Okay. So if we go back up and look at our concepts here for two-step equations. Simplifying if needed. The ones we saw below, we didn't need to combine any like terms. We did get our variable to one side and our constants to the other, meaning our n's, our p's, our x's, our y's on one side, constants other. We did that by using inverse operations, so in this case, addition or subtraction. Lastly, to get our variable alone, we either multiplied or divided both sides. And then we checked our solution. We made sure that what we found made the equation true. So, things to remember. Close attention to signs. Really, really important. Rewrite the equation if you needed. You notice some of them we rewrote so that we could see it in a different way. And then always performing the same operation on both sides. You can apply this thinking and the one-step equation thinking to what we are currently studying with angle measures when you're finding an angle measure. So this would be the same process, whether it's a one-step or a two-step equation to solve for a missing angle measure. We'll continue on with our videos. This one hopefully is a good refresher. We did do this last year, at the end of last year, and we'll keep on keeping on.